What's up, guys? DSP Tactical back doing a quick review and breakdown of a handgun that they call a handgun, but it is more of a hand cannon. I got a love-hate relationship with this thing. I still don't know, if I love it because it's a Desert Eagle and they're so iconic, or if I even like shooting it. But we'll kind of break down today kind of what makes it tick, what I like about it. This specific version is the Desert Eagle L6 STS Comp in 50 Action Express. It's meant to kind of be the lightweight version of the Desert Eagle. Its compact iteration is, of an iconic gun with that integrated muzzle brake and full top and bottom rails. This one has a bottom rail as well. So today we'll just briefly break down weight, design, that lower rail, the integral brake, some of the finishes, definitely going to get into on-range behavior, and then kind of just discuss, who is this pistol actually made for? Who does it make sense for? And, we'll get into it. So this gun's actually not brand new. I wanted to kind of do an unboxing to kind of show, you guys what you'd potentially be opening up or getting if you do decide to get one of these. But it's been shot probably 200 to 300 rounds through it. Shoots great. I haven't had any issues with it, but I wanted to, again, pull it out of the box to kind of show you the full breakdown. So we'll spin this bad boy over and get into it. Just like anything else, it obviously comes in a pistol case, even though it's not a typical pistol. It's more of a hard shell, thicker, kind of stronger plastic, obviously because it's carrying just a complete beast in there. But it's a beefy case. It's, out of all the pistol cases I have, it's definitely the strongest and most robust. So we'll pop this open. Again, it's got your typical paperwork, your manual, your disassembly guides, and all that. If you are somebody that throws away paperwork, I would throw away, all this stuff if you have to. But the one that I'd keep or at least take a picture of is this Magnum Research gives you this green piece of paper that has kind of care instructions depending on what finish you get. It's good to know whether you get the gold or any of the nickel finishes. I have the stainless steel, just the silver, the classic model that most people are familiar with kind of from the movies and kind of all the glory that it's gotten over the years. So I wanted to get kind of that iconic look, but they almost sold me on the tiger stripe. And anyways, this is a good piece of paper to know, or I'm sure you could find it online too, but this is the only piece of paper that I'd recommend learning or at least knowing before you junk it. So obviously then there's the pistol itself, big beast of a pistol, definitely a lot of fun to shoot, but also a nightmare to shoot if you're not ready for it. Like I said, this thing, I've shot it before, so we'll do a quick safety test on it, make sure it's empty. So I do have rounds in there. It's 7+1 mag. I can't find any full metal jacket 50 AEs, at least at my local stores. So if anybody has a place to shop for them, I'm sure they're going to still be around that $2 to $3 per round. This is an expensive gun to shoot, but I'd like to have some metal jackets. Right now I only have open tip, so if you have some, please shoot it in the comments, or if you know where to get them. And then this is her herself. I'm sure you're all, familiar with the gun, have seen it, have seen pictures of it. Again, I voted to get the stainless steel model. I just think it's the most beautiful, best looking model that they make without kind of junking it up with the extra tiger stripes or the gold. Obviously those are super cool too, but this is the one I opted to get. Completely empty, quick dry fire. Man, it's just such a robust, strong pistol. Everything takes a little extra oomph to move it. Aside from functionality and how it shoots, it's one of my favorite slides to even just listen to. I mean, that's just a capturing sound. I can't get enough of it. But we'll kind of break down, the specs, obviously, go over it in full and go from there. But this is kind of that first look when you open it up, what you're kind of going to get. So, the L6 version, this is, I don't know if I mentioned it, this is the L6 STS Comp, 50 AE. this is their lightweight, compact iteration of an iconic gun. It's got the integrated muzzle brake, full top and bottom rails. We'll kind of just touch briefly on weight, design, the lower rail, the integral brake, some of the finishes, definitely the on-range behavior, and then kind of just finish it off with who does this pistol actually make sense for? So we'll dive into all that. But just to get into kind of quick specs, quick snapshot. The L6, it ships with a 6-inch barrel, 7+1 capacity and 50 AE, and an overall length of 10.75 inches. The L6 is the L, so it's their lightweight configuration that pairs an aluminum frame with a stainless steel or carbon steel slide and a factory integral muzzle brake, and it's roughly 10 ounces lighter than the steel frame Desert Eagle. I believe unloaded, I think it's 3.1 or 3.4 pounds, depending on the finish and configuration. So, it's definitely not a lightweight pistol by any means, but when you look at it and you feel it, you'll understand why. So, now we'll get into kind of the design and sort of why the L6 exists. So like I said, the L6 is, it's Magnum Research's answer to, can we make a Desert Eagle that's more manageable without diluting its character? And by moving to this, alloy L frame and keeping the 6-inch factory integral muzzle brake, that Magnum Research trims weight while preserving that same gas-operated rotating bolt action that the Eagle is famous for. It's a system that's honestly more common in rifles than it is handguns, but this is essentially a rifle in your hand. To kind of rotate towards receivers and the frame and the rails. Mechanically, the L6 is still unmistakably a Desert Eagle. It's a long, slabby slide riding on a machined frame. The L6 adds that top and bottom Picatinny rails. The bottom is commonly used for, it actually has 10 slots. It's a 10-slot section on a factory L6 frames, which opens the platform up for optics, lights, and other accessories while keeping that sleek look. But, I haven't put anything on it. I don't think I will. I kind of like the way it looks as is. I think junking it up with optics and a flash, I just don't know if that's, what it was intended for with this sort of iconic look as is. But with that, the bottom rail is a meaningful addition. It lets you run creative setups that were previously aftermarket on these Eagles, but remember, this is a heavy bore, high pressure platform, so furniture and optic choices should really respect how big the gun is and the forces that it produces. To get into kind of the muzzle brake and the comp, the L6 comp ships with an integral muzzle brake, essentially an 8-port factory designed brake that tames muzzle rise and reduces perceived recoil. That brake combined with the slide mass and the gas system is the primary reason that the Desert Eagle is even shootable in 50 AE. On the range, I will say it's a heavy gun and it certainly kicks. It's got some recoil, but you feel the brake doing the work, doing work to kind of tone that down out there on the range. The recoil impulse is blunt and heavy, but the muzzle climb is moderated, and it doesn't make the 50 AE gentle by any means, but it makes follow-up shots a bit more practical for a pistol that's this size. So, to kind of get into the weight and the balance and the handling of this whole thing, the weight is where the L6 story matters. So compared to those, steel-framed Eagles, the L6 shaves about 10 ounces or more, bringing unloaded weights to the mid-40s to low 50s ounces range, depending on the model, obviously. But in practice, that means that the L6 handles noticeably lighter. The swing and the presentation are quicker. The pistol carries easier on a range day, but it's definitely still big, front heavy compared to your typical service pistol. If you plan to shoot a lot of heavy loads, the L6 does reduce fatigue. If you collect or display, the lighter frame makes transport and handling a nicer experience without changing the Desert Eagle's character. So, for what it is and how heavy the Eagles are, it's definitely the lighter version, and it's definitely a bit noticeable, especially when you shoot it. So obviously this will tell you, I don't know if this tells you all of them, but this gets into most of the finishes that are offered. But kind of just to touch on finish options and aesthetics. The L6 is offered in, I believe, matte black anodized frames with contrasting stainless or carbon steel slides, or even plated or color variants like gold or PVD treatments on limited runs. The STS comp variants have that refined, almost an upscale look, kind of brush surfaces that read premium and keep the Eagle's signature slab profile looking museum grade. Visually, it's unapologetic. It literally is just a statement piece. The bottom rail integrates cleanly. Nothing on the frame looks bolted on or afterthought. It's very clean, and it is what it is. I previously mentioned, I personally wouldn't want to put any optics on any sights, accessories, nothing. I wouldn't put anything on it. But the factory L6s do ship with combat sights and a Picatinny rail for top rail optics. Obviously, the sight radius with a 6-inch barrel is long for a pistol, which helps accuracy potential. If you mount an optic, remember to use, robust mounts rated for heavy-duty pistols. The slide reciprocates with significant massive force. So keep that in mind if you are shopping for optics. But like I said, stick with optics and mounts from reputable manufacturers that advertise compatibility with full-size Magnum handguns, because this is one of those guns that it's just not the place to cheap out. So if you are considering putting optics on this thing, I'd match kind of that marginal range of what you'd typically pay for optics or accessories, and I'd jack it up just like you did with the price of this handgun, because it's heavy duty and you don't want anything cheap kind of flying off of it, But let's kind of jump into on-range performance. We'll definitely do a video. I think we're going to do like a blended video of 5 or 6 guns kind of in one. We'll review a bunch and then we'll shoot them all together. But range impressions, the L6 50A, it's loud, it's blunt, and it's cinematic. Factory ammunition produces big muzzle flash and a pronounced report. The break helps, and the lighter aluminum frame means that you'll feel the impulse slightly differently than a Steel Eagle. Accuracy at practical distances is actually impressive for a large bore pistol. The fixed barrel and rotating bolt architecture are a part of that. But expect groups comparable to a carefully shot large bore revolver at 25 yards when using, good ammo and consistent technique. But no doubt the recoil is heavy. It's not your casual plinker, but the L6 mitigation definitely measures and lets you kind of get back on target faster than you might expect from a pistol of this caliber. I'd say maintenance and longevity is kind of, it's how you treat your stuff in general. That's kind of how it goes for everything. But, maintaining a Desert Eagle is like maintaining any high-end firearm. Regular cleaning of the gas port, the piston area, careful inspection of locking lugs and slide rails, and obviously quality lubrication. The gas system's robust. But it's higher operating pressures mean dirt and lead can affect the function if it's neglected. So use appropriate ammo and cleaning intervals and you should be all set. Because the L6 uses an alloy frame, monitoring mounting hard points like rails and screws and torque specs, if you frequently change optics or accessories is advisable as well. But again, it's just like anything else, any other high-end guns you may have. It's, they operate how you treat them over time. So treat this thing with care, obviously clean it as much as you can, but, it's a good time if you treat it right. And lastly, who is this for? The L6 STS comp is for the collector who wants a lighter Desert Eagle. It's not crazy noticeable, but definitely a bit lighter with modern, accessory mounting out of the box. And it's for that shooter who wants an ego-satisfying, large bore experience that's still relatively manageable. It's not your daily carry gun. It's a statement. It's a rare range piece. It's a centerpiece, and it's an impressive addition if you value both, aesthetics and performance. So definitely, I mean, I'd consider it if you have the money laying around, or if it's kind of been one of your dream guns. It's worth every penny in the world to me. You know, every time, similar with the Honey Badger, when I'm at the range or when I'm with friends, this is one of the ones that people want to shoot. So again, you know, proceed with caution with this guy. Obviously, it's a huge handgun, but it's a trophy piece for sure, and I definitely recommend it. And you know, it's definitely one that you're never going to want to buy because of the price, but once you buy it, you're never going to want to get rid of it. So appreciate you guys tuning in today. We're going to keep reviewing and shooting really high-end stuff. That's what we do here. Definitely hit subscribe. These videos are going to start popping out everywhere, so we're going to stay on it, give you guys really good content, shoot comments. I really need to know if these, you know, full metal jacket rounds can be found anywhere, because I don't typically order ammo online. I never have. I'm a huge in-store guy. I buy everything in store. And you know, I'm open to buying online, but I can't find Full Metal Jacket 50 AE. So shoot it in the comments, hit subscribe, and keep your eyes out for the next one.